26 years, 38 trophies. One name synonymous with unbeatable is Sir Alex Ferguson. But what happens when the architect of an empire steps away? How does a club that once defined dominance find itself lost in the present decade? Under Sir Alex, Manchester United became a machine. Well, they didn't just win games, they built a proper empire. Today, we're dissecting that transition from the end of a huge and heavy dynasty to an ongoing era of uncertainty. What went wrong? Who tried to fix it? And where do they go from here? Let's get into it. Ferguson took over in 1986. And yeah, it wasn't smooth sailing at first. There were doubts, criticism. He was even close to being sacked. But then came the FA Cup win in 1990. And from there, it just exploded. League titles? He won 13 of them. Champions League? Twice. The treble in 1999? Still one of the greatest achievements in football history. He didn't only coach players, he created legends. Think Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, Rooney, Ronaldo. These were more than great footballers. They became global icons under Sir Alex. He built teams, broke them down, rebuilt them, and kept winning. It was a cycle. Win, rebuild, win again. Simple, right? But in 2013, everything stopped. Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And yeah, people expected a dip in form, maybe a slower year or two. But no one expected this, because what followed wasn't a decline, it was a collapse. Entered David Moyes, handpicked by Ferguson himself. And on paper, it made sense. Moyes had done well at Everton. He was hardworking, focused, and Scottish, just like Sir Alex. But managing Manchester United? That was a completely different beast. Within months, things started to fall apart. The style of play was confusing. The results were worse. The confidence vanished. United finished 7th. No Champions League, no fear factor, no identity. Moyes was sacked before the season even ended. And just like that, the era of confusion had officially begun. That's when Louis van Gaal appeared. A big name with a massive reputation. Tactical, experienced, a thinker. And he did bring home the FA Cup. But the football? Boring, safe, almost robotic. It wasn't what the United fans remembered. The excitement was gone. The thrill? Nowhere to be found. It felt like a club going through the motions, not chasing greatness. So when Van Gaal left, the fans hoped again. Because now the special one was coming to town. Jose Mourinho. Love him or hate him, Mourinho is box office. He brings trophies, confidence, and chaos. He won the League Cup and the Europa League. He brought in Zlatan, Pogba, and for a moment it felt like United were back. But it didn't last. Behind the scenes, things turned sour. Mourinho clashed with players. The football became defensive, dull, and predictable. The joy faded. The drama returned. And once again, United lost its way. So in came Ole Gunnar Solskjær, the baby-faced assassin, a legend, a man who scored one of the most iconic goals in United history. And to be honest, it felt good at first. He brought back some joy. He gave young players chances, and there were thrilling moments, especially those counterattacks and big wins. They even finished second in the league, but the cracks were still there. No trophies, no real system, just vibes and memories. And slowly things began to unravel again. The defense was shaky, the big games were disappointing, and the fans started asking, was Ole ever really the right man? Eventually the club answered, he was gone. What followed was chaos, nothing but pure chaos. Ralf Rangnick, a well-respected tactician, was brought in as interim manager. The idea was to steady the ship, but instead, it was a mess. The dressing room leaked stories to the media. Players looked lost. The performances were worse. Rangnick couldn't control the squad, and the fans more frustrated than ever. At this point, the club wasn't just struggling, it was broken. Then came Ten Hag, a fresh start, a proper tactician, disciplined, focused. He had rebuilt Ajax, and the hope was he could do the same with United. And in his first season, things were looking up. He won the Carabao Cup, got United back into the Champions League, reached the FA Cup final. The team showed structure and resilience. It finally felt like there was a plan again. But then came the second season, and everything started to fall apart. Injuries piled up, the defense collapsed, players regressed, the style of play became unclear, big losses returned, the fear factor disappeared again. It was like déjà vu. Same problems. New manager. But let's be honest, the issue isn't just the manager. It's bigger than that. Because above the pitch, there has been a shadow for years, the Glazers. They bought the club in 2005 using a ton of debt. And since then, it's been a steady decline. Old Trafford is rusting. The training facilities are outdated. The structure behind the scenes is chaotic. Transfers are messy. Decisions are short-term. And the fans? They've had enough. They've protested for years. Glazers out banners have become a regular sight. Because when owners don't care about football, the football suffers. Curiosity, loop, and what's even more shocking, despite spending over £1 billion, United still couldn't build a proper team. Why did all that money go to waste? Stay with me. This part will blow your mind. So let's talk about recruitment. Manchester United have spent over £1 billion since Ferguson left. But what do they have to show for it? So many failed signings. Big names that flopped. Alexis Sanchez, Angel Di Maria, Paul Pogba, Harry Maguire, Romelu Lukaku, Jadon Sancho, Antony, the list goes on. And the reason? There's no football vision, no long-term strategy, just panic buys and commercial moves. While other clubs built smart modern systems, United tried to buy its way back to the top. And it just didn't work. Twist. But here's a twist that most fans don't realize. At one point, Manchester United were using outdated scouting reports that were years old. There were even rumors that some scouts were still submitting recommendations by email and Excel sheets, while rivals like Manchester City and Liverpool had switched to cutting-edge AI and analytics platforms. So while other clubs were moving forward, United were stuck in the past, quite literally, when it came to data and scouting. Meanwhile, legends of the club, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, and Paul Scholes, they've all spoken out. They're not angry for the sake of it. They're angry because they remember what greatness looked like, and they're watching it disappear. But maybe, just maybe, there's a new chapter starting. Recently, Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought a minority stake in the club through Ineos. He's promised change, promised football-first thinking, promised to rebuild the culture. The fans are hopeful, but cautious. Because let's be real, Manchester United has been in a 10-year spiral, and it'll take more than money to fix it. It'll take vision, structure, passion, patience. Right now, Manchester United isn't a football powerhouse. It's a club stuck in transition, from empire to uncertainty. But here's the thing about football. Things can change. Empires fall, but they also rise again. And maybe, just maybe, the next chapter isn't about the past. It's about finding a new identity and writing a new legacy. Let's hope they get it right. If you like this video, make sure to check out our previous video and drop a comment with your thoughts on what went wrong and what can go right. And hey, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel as well. I'll see you in the next one.